Yes, a warm welcome to a new video from the world of steel and metal construction. Today's topic, welding in the PC position. You all know what the positions are. PC, welding in a horizontal position against the wall. We all know that it's best to always weld in the PA position, i.e. in the flat position from above. In the PC position, you naturally have the problem of gravity. Gravity makes my weld pool run down. We've already heard a lot about the blowing effect in stud welding, and you can use this blowing effect to your advantage when welding in the PC position. Now we have a flat steel bar here, just placed upright. In reality, it usually looks different. We have a large sheet pile wall, a huge plate. That's where the first issue starts. Where do we attach our ground? I could take the ground and just hang it on top of the sheet pile wall. But we know the blowing effect, if I weld there now, the current flows upwards into the ground cable. And the arc pushes downwards. Add gravity to that, which is rather unfavorable because the weld pool then runs off. Of course, it's perfect if the ground is at the bottom. Now, I can't always attach it at the bottom when I'm working somewhere in the field, because with a sheet pile wall like this, well, it might already be sitting in the ground at the bottom. And where am I supposed to connect my ground there? In that case, it's advisable to just clamp the ground on top once, even though it's unfavorable for welding. You attach it at the top and weld an auxiliary stud at the bottom. Yes, we go ahead, take a stud, and weld it. This stud will now turn out bad, and we'll just weld it on here. Let's knock it off and take a look. Yes, and now we can see it. The collar is not closed at the top. This stud won't have a proper connection. It's unusable like this. The weld is not okay. But we now have at the bottom of our sheet pile wall, or our metal sheet, a stud to which we can attach the ground cable. So we've now attached our ground cable at the bottom. This means that when we weld a stud now, the current will flow from the stud downwards through the ground cable. And the plasma effect pushes the arc upwards. Let's just give that a try. Yes, and we can see now that the ring is closed at the top, but it's still not perfect. We still have some arc blow. It's moved upwards, but it's not perfect yet. So what can we do now? When welding in the PC position, you can only go up to a stud diameter of 16 millimeters anyway. Anything larger won't work. So you reduce the time. You simply reduce the time. We've currently set it to 600 milliseconds for a 16 millimeter stud, and we'll just go down to 500 milliseconds. Now, some of you might say, but then we won't have enough power. Yeah, and that's why we'll increase the arc. I mean, the amperage by about 100 amps. Or let's make it 150. Okay, so I've now increased the power by 150 amps. I've reduced the time by about 100 milliseconds. And we'll try the whole thing one more time. Let's position it again. And we can already see that the soot is moving upwards. We have no soot marks at the bottom, but it has outgas towards the top. Let's knock it off again. There. closed all the way around. Now, if that still doesn't work, there's one more little trick you can use to influence it. And that's with a magnet. You take a crane magnet and attach it above the weld. This will amplify the entire effect. We're reinforcing the upward pull. We're making it even stronger and simply lifting the weld pull with a magnet. It works. All right, thank you. Welding in the PC position up to 16 millimeters is no problem, and if you do run into issues or have questions, visit www.koeco.net or just give us a call. Thank you.